6, and the World Snooker Championship is underway. Ronnie O'Sullivan, world number 1 in the rankings, is playing today at the grand old age of 46. But what's in a number? And in fact, does age matter when it comes to snooker? Let's put that to Chris Lovell, who's head of coaching and training development at the World Professional Billiards and Snooker Association, if I can speak, and comedian and snooker fan Tom Mayhew. Chris and Tom, good evening to you both.
Good evening. How are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. Chris, I mean, you...
Good evening. How are you doing?
Good, not too bad at all. Chris, you've trained some of the legends of the snooker world, such as John Higgins, for example. What are the main qualities needed to make it to the top in snooker, do you think?
Well, it begins with the right attitude and the will to win, the will to practice, and then really not giving up. I mean, all three of the class of 92, as we call them, Ronnie O'Sullivan, John Higgins and Mark Williams, they just don't want to give up. And there's a desire still to get up and practice each day. But all three of them, they've gone through times when it's not been too great, but have come through the other end. And that's the sign of true champions. And that's what those three are. And age and name doesn't mean a thing to them in this sport.
Right, so what is so special then, say, about those three, about Ronnie O'Sullivan in particular? Because there are plenty of people, I'm sure, playing snooker and plenty of contenders potentially for the titles and for the wins, but and Ronnie, for some reason, has something above the rest.
Well, he's a genius. You know, let's not beat about the bush. The greatest ever player to pick up a snooker cue, can play right and left-handed, and a talent never ever been seen before, and possibly never again. And
for someone who does not, who doesn't play snooker, so just in terms, if you were to write a list, say, of all the things that he is, say, genius at, you were talking there about left-handed and right-handed. What else does he do that demonstrates just talent above any other?
Well, when he gets in amongst the balls, he scores very heavily and makes centuries. He's over 1,150 centuries. Now, a century, to anybody that doesn't know the game, our game consists of 15 reds. Every time you pot a red, you can pick a pot of colour, ranging from yellow, green, brown, blue, pink, black, value 2 to 7. So you get 1 for a red, then a colour, and then when all the reds have gone, you then pot yellow, green, brown, blue, pink, black, and if you get over 100, that's classed as a century.
And he's got
1,150.
That's not too bad. It's 1,150 more than I have. Tom, I'll come to you. I mean, Ronnie O'Sullivan is he's really, in the world of snooker, I suppose, he's a bit of a rock and roll sort of figure. What do you make of him? He's a favourite of yours.
Yeah, man, I think he's the best player ever. He's absolutely incredible. And I don't really know how, as you say, those three, they seem to get much better as they get older. I don't know whether there's something in people saying, like, if you dye your hair grey, does it make you much better at snooker? Like, is that something we should tell 16-year-olds to do? Because, well, from the evidence, it seems to be the case. It seems that we should just eat kebabs, go for a run, dye your hair grey, and suddenly you're world champion. So,
well, by that logic, our producer, Dom, should be the world champion at snooker, I would have thought. Tom, what I mean, it's like snooker in general, does it, I mean, so there's the debate that goes on about whether or not it's a sport or whether it's a game, or in fact whether there's a difference between the two. It's certainly something that requires a lot of skill. How do you define it?
I think it's a sport. I think, I think what adds to the fact it's a sport is the fact it has an audience that watch it live, that sort of, they are part of the experience. They kind of spur the players on. And I think anything like that, I think that and darts, they are sports. They can just be played by people who are less conventional sports people. But I mean, considering, most of the lifestyles of people in Britain, I think it makes it the most British sport of all, really, that you could have, Mark Williams eating a kebab, then doing the naked press conference after he's won the World Championship. Like you wouldn't have that in any other sport, and I think that's what makes it beautiful.
And Chris, I mean, physical prowess, how much does it come into, say, training for snooker and being at the elite of snooker like Ronnie O'Sullivan is?
To win the World Championship over 17 days, which is the second longest sporting event in the world after the Tour de France, you've got to have endurance, you've got to have stamina, class, and the ability to win. It's interesting, we laugh about the kebabs and Mark Williams and anything else, but those three lads are very fit. And the reason they do keep going is Mark plays badminton. John, for the last 2 years, has lost 3 stone going to spinning classes. Ronnie O'Sullivan is a fitness and gym fanatic and a very healthy eater. So let's not get carried away with off the table lifestyle. You know, this sport's waking up. I mean, I've just launched a brand new advanced coaching qualification today, which has got biomechanics in it, nutrition, sports psychology. So we're training the top coaches to offer the best possible physical things for sports people within our sport.
Great stuff. We will leave it there, lads. Thanks very much for that indeed. That is Chris Lovell, their Head of Coaching and Training Development at the World Professional Billiards and Snooker Association, and comedian and snooker fan Tom Mayhew as well. Well, sticking with sport, let's head over to David Curry and see what's on the cards. David.
Thank you. I can't believe you said the grand old age of 46, by the way. You make me feel positively, positively ancient.
You're not near that, David.
I'm struggling to get through this shift, let me tell you. What a match there is in prospect this evening in the Championship, and you can watch it unfold live on BBC Scotland. It's Kilmarnock versus Arbroath, the top